all that's going on in the world, there's one situation and one topic that you can't get away from: relationships. Whether you're in one, coming out of one, getting ready to go into one, you can't get away from it. So let's talk about it. It's all about relationships.
Welcome to He Said, She Said. I am your host, Lady Nakia, and I'm here with my bae, Pastor Eli, and we are here to talk about relationships.
Relationships.
It goes down in relationships.
Oh, it goes down in the DM. Listen to me. One area that we love to talk about is relationships. We've been together for a long time. We get a lot of conferences, a lot of counseling sessions on relationships. So we thought it was important to talk about it, man. What happens when God takes a guy from the east side and a girl from the west side, 2G of Indianapolis, and bring us together? We know a little bit about relationships.
Absolutely.
We've been together a little while. How long we been together? We've been together a little while.
Half our lives.
Half our lives, man. If you don't know our story behind relationships, we've been together. I think I was 14. You had to be 15 going on 16. Yeah. She said she was a lot older than me, but that ain't really true.
Really?
She was older than me,
really?
But we did with a relationship. What do you see, even from a church perspective, from a lot of people that we counsel that's going on in the relationships in today's society? Because today, 2017, is a lot different from when we were coming up. What do you see?
Listen, I just see that nobody wants to be faithful. Nobody wants to have longevity. Nobody wants to work things out. Everybody wants to, say if it's not working, hey, we could just say irreconcilable differences and we out this thing.
Well, the crazy thing about it is that when we were coming up, it was harder to get in a relationship to actually have one. There were steps that you had to go through in order to get into a relationship. What are some of the steps that you had to go? You had to.
First off, it was the letter. Do you like me?
Do you like me?
Yes or no?
Yes or no?
That was it.
So you had to have have the confidence to even ask for somebody, do they like you or not?
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
Crazy.
You had to have that. Then there was the confidence to even say, can I have your number?
Can I have your number?
Can I have your number?
Not only do I get your number, but then I got to wait for you to call me, or you got to wait for me to call you. So there's the waiting period after you get the number, and then you got to, you once you get the phone call, then you're not even in a relationship yet. What happens next? Yeah.
No, then you have to say, will you be my girlfriend or my boyfriend?
Now I smoothed you when we did it. I smoothed you.
I knew.
You knew it. I smoothed you.
No, you know
I smoothed her, everybody. Let me tell you what happened. Can I tell them? Let me tell you.
No, you cannot.
I said, listen to me. Listen, you about to be my girl, and that's all she wrote. Can I have you or not? And we was together.
And what I say?
I hung up the phone.
Yep.
You didn't say nothing. I hung up.
And then what I do?
You didn't call me back.
Absolutely.
And so I waited. There was a waiting period. The Bible says that they that wait upon the Lord. I think that I waited, and then I've obtained favor because I waited. That's crazy to me. So I absolutely love it. So now we're counseling people on relationships.
Yes.
We have a lot of different situations. People come from all different types of angles. And I want to kind of speak to that. Let's go ahead and start with the singles. All the single ladies. Let's start with that. You have different types of singles. And for some reason, people who are single have been deemed as the cursed group. Or the people who they don't fit in. Something wrong with them. Why don't you speak to that real quick?
Well, sometimes people don't understand when you're single. You can go when you want. You can do what you want. You can come back when you want. You can leave if you want. You
Absolutely.
can stay if you want. You can do whatever you want when you're single.
So it's not always a bad thing.
It's not always a bad thing. And I know that, they say, well, y'all been married for a long time.
Right.
Y'all been together for a long time. Yeah, but it's still been times that we felt like we were single. You know,
Absolutely.
you've deployed, you've been,
Absolutely.
in the military. So
Right.
there's been times that we have had our moments of where we have not been, together always. And so, understanding that sometimes is not always bad. And I think everybody said everybody wants to be loved,
Right.
but a lot of times it's almost like you should take this time to work on you,
Right. Learn how to love
to learn how
yourself.
to love
You
yourself.
say something,
Absolutely.
even you said something to our son the other day. I heard you. I was ear hustling. You said sometimes you got to learn how to be by yourself. What does
Absolutely.
that mean?
I mean, even these teenagers nowadays, it's almost like, you jump from one person to the next person.
Right.
So, it's not like you get a chance to even find out what you like
Right.
because you have been in this relationship. You figure that doesn't work. So you jump to the next relationship. And then after a while, you find out that doesn't work either. Well, if you learn how to be by yourself, you can find out, oh, well, I don't like it when a girl does this, or I don't like it when a guy does this, or I like this. She has to have this kind of hair, or, blah, blah, blah. But if you just continuously jumping from relationship to relationship, it doesn't give you a chance to be able to find out
Wow.
who you are or what you like.
You know what I'm amazed with? I'm amazed with there's no time span but between relationships. So you were
Absolutely.
in love with this person this day and
Yes.
they had your heart, then they broke your heart,
Yes.
and then 3 days later you're in a new relationship. Y'all
Yeah.
got a Facebook post, y'all a
Uh-huh.
power couple,
Uh-huh.
y'all in
And the
love
sex is
all over
already
again. Sex has
already
already
happening.
come
So
up.
you know
Oh
that.
my,
So wait a minute. Can you
don't start
please
that.
do me a favor
Hmm.
and define love?
Yeah,
Because when people say that we're in
yeah,
love, like I have a hard time
yeah.
understanding like how you can be in love so fast.
Yeah, well, I tell you the definition that I use, and I'm not the king of the hill. I don't have relationships down to a science. But one of the things that I always say, and we're teaching people, is that love is selfless, not selfish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you really want to find out if it's love, it's selfless, it's not selfish. I think a lot of times people are using selfish ambitions and calling it love,
And
and that's
that's
not
not
love.
absolutely.
Love is giving
Yes.
and not taking. So a
Yes.
lot of people want something,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't believe that that's the definition of love.
Mm-hmm.
But when you give,
Mm-hmm.
then that is love in return.
But how would you say that to a young person?
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you think about that, you're thinking about us as grown-ups who can pay your bills,
Hmm.
or somebody that can,
Right.
buy you
Yeah.
something, or whatnot.
Mature enough
Now,
to, yeah.
mature enough to be able to
Yeah.
handle their businesses. That what about these young people who really can't offer,
Well,
like our son,
well,
offer somebody
I'll say
something.
this. Here's what I've learned with the young people, even in our church, even in our home, is that you can't discount their definition of love. I think as adults, we try to say, well, they don't know nothing. They don't have nothing. They don't have a pot to pee in. They don't. No, to them, they're in love,
Yeah.
And so I don't want to discount that, but I do think we have a responsibility to teach
Teach them.
them that, hey,
Absolutely.
it's selfless. It's not
Absolutely.
about what you can get. It's not about,
Absolutely.
well, if she loved me, she would do this, or if he loved me. It's not. It's really about what you can
Give to
give,
the
and you
person.
don't have to be able to offer material things, but
Absolutely.
you can offer things of substance. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That will last
That means like
past my
support. That
support.
means,
Absolutely.
just being there, being an ear,
Yeah.
different things of that sort. It doesn't have to be material, because now it's almost like we see this in our young people Facebook, where they post, oh, he bought me this, or or she bought me this, and now it's almost based off of what we can show that
Right.
they've done for us,
Right.
and not so much as hey, you got somebody in your family passed, or hey, I'm having problems at home, and
Right.
hey, my mom is on drugs, or my dad is on drugs, or I got kicked out the house, or
Right.
what type of support they're actually offering versus what you can do for me.
That it's amazing that you say that, because I wanted to bring up the idea of people not really understanding what the wholeness that they need first
Yeah,
before they get
absolutely.
into a relationship. You see
Absolutely.
people get in, I think it was K. Michelle that said you can't raise a man. Well, what about the man who hasn't been raised, or the man who hasn't been taught how to be a man, or the woman who hasn't been self-sufficient?
Yeah.
She lacks confidence, whereas you're always wanting someone else to fix it for you,
Absolutely.
or to fix you, when that time that you have by yourself should have been to work on yourself and
Absolutely.
fixing yourself.
Well, and I think that's probably what I tell our son the most, is because, you know, you need to learn how to be self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient.
When you learn how to be by yourself, that means that if somebody's there, you're fine.
Right.
If somebody isn't there,
Right.
you're fine.
Because they're not doing that now.
Yeah,
Now you
no,
see
absolutely
people
not.
almost get into a suicidal depression
Absolutely.
when they don't have someone else there constantly.
Yeah,
When there
absolutely.
just may be a time where you should be okay by
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah. Well, I mean, just think about it. When we were raising my cousin, and she had found herself in a relationship, and then they were moving too fast. It
Right.
was like, in beginning to spend the night with one another, just different things like that. It's like you kind of move like you're in a marriage,
Like you're in a marriage.
and you're not married. So then you kind of get burnt
Right.
out. You burn yourself out on the things, or the things that should be a surprise or a secret, or
Right.
just a guess. You've
Right.
already laid everything out. There's
Right.
nothing else to wonder, about. And so now, looking at it a few years later, she's not even with that person. And then come back and say, well, I should have listened. Man, y'all were trying to
Right.
tell me, you were trying to help me. And it was almost
Wow.
like and this is what kills me, or gets behind all the nerves that I got, is saying that basically you say that because you have somebody, but I'm not, or I don't want you to be
So that's what they
happy.
say. They say, well, it's easy for you
Because you got
because you got somebody,
but
you're in a
or you don't
relationship,
want me to be
or
happy.
you don't want me to be
And I'm like,
happy.
I have nothing to lose or gain by helping you, but I really want to see you happy. So when we try to share
That's real.
knowledge or information with people, it's to help them to be able to grow and have a better relationship. We've been through a whole lot in our relationships, and so whatever information we can share,
Right.
whether that's being single, whether that's being in a relationship, whether that's being married, we want to be able to try to share that information so that people can be better and
I
healthy,
love it.
and not so much as just have a relationship to say that I have one.
Right. Well, speak to the person who says, well, first lady, I've been working on my credit. I feel like I'm ready to be in a relationship, but it seems like all the people out here are either taken, the married people trying to talk to me, they're either taken or they're not ready to be where I am. What do you say to that single person?
Well, I would say keep praying. I think that person, keep getting your grind on.
Yeah.
Don't be intimidated or anything, or let yourself down because somebody is not where you are. Because at the end of the day, somebody will come. And a lot of times we look for people that's in our own city. Sometimes to say that maybe our mate might be there. You never know. You could be on a business trip,
Hmm.
traveling or something, and you might meet somebody
What
that
about love in
is
the
supposed.
club? Why
I
can't
mean,
you find the love in the
well,
the love in the club?
I really just don't
They
think that.
soulmate may be at the bar with them. You don't think that you
If that's the case, I think maybe we might see each other someplace else, and then
mm,
I can be like, hey, I ran across you, and we might have some really good conversation, but because you might
okay.
not be trying to just holler
Okay.
at me in the
Okay.
club, you probably trying to
All
holler
right.
at everybody else in the
Okay.
club. So
All
I
right.
don't know about that.
Well, it brings me to my next point. Now, you and I, we're probably two of the most transparent people we've been told when it comes to relationships and all the things that you and I have been through. You and I have a different perspective
Oh,
on dating.
absolutely,
We don't really
absolutely,
think everybody. Listen, we don't think
absolutely,
the same. I know you think that you've been married a long time that you should think the same. But one of our strengths is
absolutely.
that we don't
We
think the
don't.
same. You have your own opinions. I have my own, and we kind of respect. Something I learned within the last couple of years is to be able to agree to disagree.
Disagree.
I think one of
Absolutely.
our fights have always been we thought that we had to think the same, and that's just not going to happen. So when it comes to dating, you and I have total different perspectives when it comes to dating. I want to ask you, for the people who are watching, what do you feel about dating websites?
Mm.
What do you think about being able to go on all of these websites to date?
It's a scam,
She thinks it's
because
a
I
scam.
think it's a
I don't think
scam.
it's a scam. She
I
thinks
think
it's
it's
a
a
scam.
scam. Why do I think it's a scam?
Why?
Because they go on there, you ask all these questions. They say, got a job? Yep. You saying, I love the Lord? Yep. Saying, I live in Indianapolis? Yep. Saying, they even probably asked the question, how big is your tallywhacker? Yep, it's on there. I don't know. I mean, they just saying all these things, and then they're lying.
So you're talking about catfishing.
basically,
So you're talking about catfishing. You
plenty of
think
fish,
no,
catfish,
you
all the whatever it
so
is. It's
you're
all
saying
the
that people are
same.
making up stories?
I do believe that they're making up who they are. I've talked to somebody that's told me they have met several people off of a dating website, and then come to find out, look, this lady has told me that the guy that she met that was on the website, that he was married. She didn't know for like a year that he was married. Hold on. But then she said he had another phone. So what he would do is when he would go home, it was an old cell phone that
Right.
he had. He would break the phone down into different pieces and place it different. Like, say it's in the kitchen counter, in the
Right.
kitchen cabinet. The wife ain't gonna think of nothing about an old cell phone that we had
Right.
in the kitchen cabinet. The battery is missing
Right.
over here, and the little back piece is probably
Right.
someplace else. But no, when he's ready to text or call, he puts the phone back together. And
Wow.
then he begins to text and call and all this. So
Okay,
she
so
said, I begin to wonder why I only heard from
hold on,
him
no, but
in certain times
but
of
you
the
moved
day and
into two
stuff.
different things. You moved into two different things. I want you to hit the first one first, just the website people, and you think that everybody on there is coming up with stuff. So you don't think
That's
people,
because I've heard
but
about
you
it.
don't think people do that in real life? Like you don't think
I
people,
do.
okay, so you don't think the same thing that you do on the website that you couldn't do when you meet somebody on the street? Like, I mean, you could come up with the same stories. You could come up with the,
Well, here, take this for example. I was when we went out of town, I was talking to a young lady,
Mhm.
and she had told me that she had met a guy, and they had got engaged. He was living in a different city. She
Mhm.
was staying in a different city, and she said, we were talking over the phone, kind of falling in love. He was romancing or whatever. She went to visit him when she got there, and he come to pick her up. He in a hoopty,
Right.
but he
But was
telling
that
her
through a website? Did they meet
it
on the website?
I believe they met through a website.
Okay, so what about the successful stories of people? Because
I
I
don't
believe,
know none.
let me
Do
tell you,
you?
I do. I know one. So,
Okay.
so what I'm saying is there's so many avenues in 2017 where people can meet that you don't have to wait to go to a club or to a church service or to a prayer meeting. That there are avenues out there where people can be honest,
Yeah.
because let's be 100. When two people meet, but most of the time they putting their best foot forward anyway, so they probably lying anyway.
Well, see,
So
I don't know if I want to endorse that, because then you will have more stuff going wrong than saying go and meet somebody on a
So
website.
ideally, where is your position that people should meet when they come in contact with each other to start dating?
Really, technically, I don't. It depends
You
on the
so
kind
old
of.
school.
I think it depends on the kind of person that you're trying to meet. Like if I'm me, I'm saying me.
You.
If I'm meeting somebody,
2017 version of you.
2017 version of me, I'm
Oh
not
Lord.
going to meet anybody in the club.
Okay.
I'm not. That's just not me.
Okay.
And then you're not going to holler at me at a gas station and talking about, hey, shorty, like you're not approaching me like that. And so, I mean, that's just not me. But it just depends on the type of person that you are to
Right.
find out the type of person that you want to meet or the
Okay.
place that you want to meet them.
Absolutely. Like I said, we go back and forth about dating because you think that there should be this traditional way of dating. I think more modern that, yeah, you could inbox somebody or yes, you could DM someone if you come at them correct and the playing field is even. What about the people who are already in a relationship? You and I have a lot of counseling sessions about people who are in relationships but they're struggling with other people coming into their relationships. How do you speak to that?
That's a tough subject because um, I think that when you're dealing with somebody in a relationship, both parties should have enough respect and for the next person to not let somebody else come into their relationship.
Yeah.
I believe, and I'm a loyal person, so I believe that if we're going to have a relationship, you should respect me enough to not do that. However, not to make excuses for people, but I feel like if you feel like you still want to be out here running around, then you should not get in a relationship with somebody.
One of the things that we say, we have a lot of sayings that you and I have adopted that has helped us. That it's hard to be married
When
when
you
you
want
want
to
to
be
be
single.
single.
Absolutely.
Speak to that real quick.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, hey, when you want to be single, you want to do single things. You want to hang with your single friends. You want to be out with your boys. Or your girls. You want to be out to 1, 2, and 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, you want to, just go like you want to go when you want. You want to come when you want. You want to
Right.
do what you
But
want.
you're in a
But
relationship.
when you're in a relationship, you can't do that because now you have that other person at home, and you have to understand that that's
But
disrespectful.
let me ask you this. So I got a rep for the fellas real quick. The guys that want to hang with their boys, are you saying that we should always be together? Like you and I should always be together because we're in a relationship?
Absolutely
But there's
not.
some people who feel like, okay, now that we're in a relationship, you can't hang out or you can't kick it
Well,
with the
I
boys
say
or you
this.
can't play
No,
poker
no,
with your
no, no,
friends.
no.
You
I
can't,
say this because there's
you
nothing
got to
wrong.
go. You're saying that you got to be
No,
there
I
all the
don't
time?
have to be
Okay,
there.
go ahead.
Absolutely not. But I will say this, that if you're going to go out and hang with your boys, you need to know boundaries. You
Hmm.
need to know what you should and you should not do. Just because you do go and hang out with your boys, that still doesn't give you free reign to be able to do
Absolutely.
whatever it is that you want to do.
Okay, so let's take it from a biblical perspective. The Bible says that how can two walk together except they agree?
Absolutely.
We know the ghetto Bible, Message Bible says, how can two walk together except they agree on the direction?
Hmm.
So speak to those who may be in a relationship but find out that they're unequally yoked.
Oh,
What does
wow.
that even mean?
Oh, wow. I mean, I've even talked to somebody and talking about being unequally yoked. Let's use this for an example. She said, well, I should have known something was wrong when I was a Christian and he was a Muslim,
Wow. Wow.
or or something,
So
because
there were
at the end
flags that
there
came
was
up
already
already.
flags
Isn't
that
it
was
amazing
coming
how
up,
people see flags,
and they
but they
ignored
ignore
them.
them? You'll
Absolutely,
see it in a relationship. You know we're not going in the same direction.
absolutely.
You want to be in the streets. I want to be in the church. We know that these flags are coming up, but
Yeah,
we ignore them anyway.
but then here's the thing. The signs are not for you to ignore, they're for you to pay attention to, because not only is that sign going to come, but there's going to be another
Right.
sign that comes after that.
Right.
So then what do you say when that first sign come and you overlook that, and then another sign come, and then do you say, well, I'm just going to overlook that, or do you say, let me pay attention
They
to
say
this?
love is
So,
blind.
well,
Love is blind. You can't
but
see.
but
I'm
but
in love.
how do you say that when, I mean, I guess I'm just saying, I don't understand how people fall in love so fast,
Yeah.
because I don't know if that would be considered love
Well,
for
what's the
me.
difference between falling in love and falling in lust? Maybe
Well,
that may be it.
that's exactly
Maybe
moving too
because
fast.
as I said before, love is giving, lust is taking.
Yeah.
Right? When you're lusting, and it doesn't always have to be sexually, but when you're lusting, it is what can I get from that?
Yeah.
What can I gain
Right
from that?
now.
Right now. I
Yeah.
need that right now. Whether
Right
it's the
now.
car, the money, the relationship, the sex, whatever it is, what can I get right now? When love is saying, you know what can I give?
Yeah.
How can I serve them? How can I make them better? One thing about our relationship that you and I have been talking about the last couple of months is I really enjoy seeing you smile. And I can't always say that. I think majority of our relationship was about me, what I can get. When I had the singing group, how can you support my singing habit? When we started the church, how can you back me in the church? And even now with having a church, above all things, and we might lose 2 viewers, is that I'll really care more about you smiling.
Yeah.
Like, am I pleasing you?
Yeah.
Because there was a time we had the church and you wasn't happy. And again, there was lust for me. It was, well, you're
Absolutely.
not supporting me and you putting down the pack,
Absolutely.
but I wasn't doing right. So once
Absolutely.
I made up my mind that I put you first, then it seemed like everything else started falling into place within
Absolutely.
our marriage, within our family, within our church, and things like that. So I think it's more about loving, giving than lusting, receiving. That's how I
Absolutely.
took it.
So let me ask you this.
Ask me.
If you, now that you are in a place in your relationship and you feel like you're happy,
Yeah.
do you have to hang out with your friends, or do you have
Absolutely.
to hang
Yes,
out to?
absolutely. Let me speak
Mhm.
to that. Yes, I have to hang out because I think sometimes I think like with you and I, we have a lot of things in common that we don't ever get a chance to miss each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go to work, but then we do everything else together, ministry and children and family, and we do
Absolutely.
all of those things together. That I do deserve that time to miss you, to
Yeah.
be able to be away, and then there's unity. They say there's in a multitude of counsel there's wisdom. So hanging with my boys sometimes lets me know that I'm not the only one going through some of the stuff that I go through.
Yeah.
Lets me know that it's common to have these different type of feelings. We're pushing another age bracket.
Yeah.
So I want to be around other people who go through what I go through to be able to gain and glean some wisdom from them too. So yes, sometimes you get on my nerves.
Well, you get on mine too.
Well, then I need to hang out a little bit.
He gets on my nerves. My
I need to hang out. Okay, let's hit the last one. The marriages.
Yeah.
Hit me on the marriages, and then we got to go, man.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for this. But hit me on the marriages. What is your idea of a successful marriage? I love to hear you talk about this one.
I think a successful marriage is one that you are respecting each other, you're loving on each other, you guys have some goals that you're trying to accomplish, you guys are ruling your home well, you know, you are just about your business and not so much as focused on other people's things. Nobody's saying that you got to be rich. Nobody's saying that you got to have it all together. But I am saying that you are into one another and that you are taking care of home.
And you take your vows seriously.
Absolutely.
You know, we've been married 19 years.
Yep.
And we just started to revisit our vows.
Absolutely.
And the sanctity of it and the seriousness of it.
Yeah.
Why don't you speak to the person who's in a relationship that they might need to remember their vows? Do that.
Renew them. That's always a great time to do that. Renew them. I always say, you know, hey, there's no time like the present. So if you feel like you are not taking your vows seriously, I think you should renew them always because it brings to forefront, you know, it brings the vows back to forefront so you can be able to see, oh, do I really mean this? Am I taking this serious or taking this to heart?
I want you to do me a favor, 30 seconds. I want you to do me a favor and pray for the marriages. I think we're such in a great place in ours. Why don't you take 30 seconds and just pray and cover the marriages, who met the relationships that may be watching us? Why don't we do that?
Absolutely. Father, I just thank you on today for every married couple that is watching this show. Father, I pray that you pour back into them, Father, everything that they unreservedly give to their spouse or significant other. Father, I pray, God, that you will bless them from the bedroom to the bank account, Father. And I pray that you will be glorified in everything that they do. Help them to be unified, glorified, and to be on one accord, Father. I pray that you get the glory out of everything that they do. Yeah, God, I pray that you help them to rule their house well and love on one another, Father. And I pray that you bless them in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Pastor Eli.
And I'm Lady Nakia.
We want you to do us a favor and tune in to
He Said,
She Said, every Saturday night, 12 midnight on TV 40.
The perfect church for imperfect people, the People's Church. Join us on Sunday mornings at 11:30 a.m., 2990 West 71st Street. Visit us at tpcindy.org for more information.
Welcome to He Said, She Said. No. Welcome.
Baby, what are you doing?
He Said, She Said.
Time to change.
What
we gotta
are we changing for?
TV40 said we got to change.
It's not that type of change, babe.
What type
He Said, She Said is just moving to midnight Saturday nights.
Oh, we're not changing?
No.
Oh.